And hello to all my Aquarius friends, I'd like to welcome you in. My name is Scott Sagent, and today I'll be doing your free Psychic Tarot reading for April 2023. Now today they've dialed up something very special for my great Aquarians, and it's going to be a love spread. We're looking at love, family dynamics, relationship dynamics, going out and finding great people dynamics. Depending on where you're at, and your love corner is a big place. Anybody close to your heart can come in on this. So love spread is very fascinating, very popular one as well. We're going to set this up in the storyline format. Thank goodness. That allows me to be very accurate because this is going to be like a bunch of mini readings all in one. It's a scattershot. I'm spreading a huge net across the entire sign of Aquarius, telling different stories for different Aquariuses in different love situations. It allows me to be very accurate, and at the end of the day, we're looking for your home run story here, so there's going to be one in here that stands out just for you. I've had people tell me that sometimes multiple stories do and will resonate with them, but at the end of the day, it's all about finding that one. So we're going to get moving with that. Also, they want me to conclude your reading with something very interesting that I don't have come up very much, and that is a telling time spread. That's pretty rare, but it's coming up for a lot of different signs this month, and you guys are part of that group. Now, what is the telling time? The telling time looks at a window of time. It's something Spirit wants to tell you about. Usually it's set in the future, so it's an opportunity or something like that they want you to plan for, and they want to give you this date. So we're going to look into that, as well as conclude with the rune stone. That'll tie a nice little bow around this project that we call April. So let's get started right now. Aquarius, the cards are already shuffled. I do that ahead of time to save us all a whole bunch of time. And right now I'm going to bring you in with my overhead camera so you can watch. That probably went dark on me. It sure did. Working with a new camera here, so, technical difficulties of getting used to this thing. My old camera pooped out on me, so we're making do with this temporary thing. And hopefully that gets the job done for us today. It's all it really needs to do. And I believe we are on and recording. So Aquarius, now that all the difficulties are out of the way, let's get moving with your reading. These are my ritual cuts, basically cutting each deck into thirds, putting them back together in a separate order. That satisfies the ritual aspect of tarot, and it's the same procedure for personal private reading. So it's just like you're here with me now. Where'd that go? There? Okay. Anyway, here we go. The storyline spread that we started with, it starts with 5 cards. I may expand out from there where we need to go. I'll kind of talk my way through it as I go, but these are your first 5 cards. All right, we're going to need more cards than this. You can see that we're almost completely blocked, but we're not done yet. We need to keep going. I have not got my stop order from Spirit yet. And this deck, you got to pretend this is in one long line. I'm just coming down here for the camera. This deck is known for creating very long storylines sometimes, and there is my end finally. And I know that because this gentleman is looking back this way. Not majorly, not a direct facing, but this deck doesn't have many direct facing. So that's enough for my stop order from Spirit. So now we have so many blocked, we're going to do a discard right now to see if Spirit wants to upright the whole thing. They say no. So I need to get my pairings together based on this. That's going to be a story here. This is going to come back up here. Everything's still in a line. Once I get it kind of paired up, I can move it around where I want because they're already married together. These are going to be bound to here, that to that. Okay, so we're basically, I got to figure this one out. Every story so far has 3 cards. I just got to figure this one out, what's going on here. I'm going to separate those. So, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stories. Holy cow. It's filling up the table with cards here momentarily. Now this is where the table gets very, very full, guys. So I'm going to have to move the camera around to get everything in view for you, which I will do. So just pardon me while I do the work here real quick. Every major arcana card gets 2 to describe it. This is a person card, a court card. I need one to see if that's a person. They say no, but we're still going to leave that in the spread. That set is already over there. Coming over here, got 2 on the Fool, 2 on the Hierophant. I have to shift that over. Told you we run out of room. And then, that's good. Got a court card here with the Princess. Another deck, that's a page. They say not a person. We're using the energetic definition there. Coming down here, we have all pips, all minor cards. This is just going to get 1 to describe it. And then over here, we have the Chariot. That's getting 2 major arcana. And that would be it. Now check the inverts one more time for the stories. Now that we've added a lot more cards to the group. That's definitely getting a discard. Spirit says no, we want that upright, or that we want that inverted just like it is. So we're keeping that one just the way it is. Also, this one I'm going to pull the angel card first. That makes that one stay enough upright that does not matter also. And then down here, I do need an angel card. Well, either way, it's going to get a discard. Now this one they do want all upright. That's probably off camera. You're not going to see it, but you're going to see it once it's once I move the camera around. The order needs to stay the same when you upright, so that's very important in tarot. I'm doing that. And angel here. That's going to leave that the way it is. So we're all ready. It's just a matter of showing you everything here in my very, very full table. Grab an oracle angel there. And that's the last of the group. Okay, let's show you. Story 1. I'm going to hold it like this just so you can see. Those are the only cards involved in story 1. Story 2 is going to be like this. That's story 2. Story 3 will come up to the top. That's a very long, lengthy story. Very long, lots of moving parts there. Story 4, let's go down here for story 4. And we'll wrap up with story 5 right there. All right, let's get to work. All about love, 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 love. Keep in mind this is a love spread, love and family, relationship dynamics, people dynamics. All right, so story 1, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Story 1 talks about the moon card on an invert. That means a rough kind of getting out of a rough patch. The weird, mysterious phase is getting behind you. If you've just recently been through one of those with somebody that you care about, with your love corner, hey, it's getting resolved. We have resolution coming in here. It's starting to clear up. They say never-ending story, so it makes me feel like, you know, this is something that you've gone through before. Maybe with somebody that you've gone through before. Like, you know, they say they're going to change. But do they? And then they don't. And then you go through the same thing again. It's a cycle. And they say they're going to change and do all these things, but do they? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what they show. So, but thankfully, we're moving out of this phase. So does that mean you're moving away from this person, this situation? Maybe. And for some of you, it's actually probably getting clear also. So it's like, did they change this time? Well, this time there's a good chance that there will be positive change going on here. Now, what they show, this is what's got to happen, though. This is very important. The decision has not been made is what they show. So this person or whatever they're referring to here for you in story 1 has not been decided upon yet. So this person or whatever they're describing really has to go all in. They have to decide, you know what, this is it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to see other people. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to drink. Whatever it is, that they need to make this decision here that this is what it's all about. Even if it's just a decision to be all about you here. That's what they show. They show they have the strength. So they have all the tools. There's nothing missing here. There's no reason to delay and say, oh, I'm going to quit drinking. You know what? I'm going to quit in May. I'm going to wait until May 1, and then I'm going to quit drinking. Spirit says, no, that's silly. You got all the tools here, or this person has all the tools. Maybe both of you guys, really. Be courageous. Be a little bold. You can get this done. Okay, so there we go. Story number 1. Probably a more rare story here, but you know, I do what Spirit wants to do, and that's what they showed. Now, as we move into story 2, guys, this is the one that came in completely, entirely blocked. The first card that comes up is the Emperor on a block. Usually this is talking about like a grandfather figure here. Okay, so this is the family. This is not about romantic stuff, usually. I'm looking ahead to see if I have any cups. I do not. So yeah, I'm correct by saying that. So we have the grandfather on a block. Now, let me kind of keep going. I feel like this is a deceased one that is just using this opportunity to come in and pass a love message on to his loved ones, which would be perhaps you here. If you have a father figure, a grandfather figure that has passed, maybe even an older uncle, something like that, they are presenting themselves as the emperor. So usually for me, that's grandfather level. You know, presenting themselves as super old, right? But I'm just thinking ahead, you know, if I got a king in this situation, I wouldn't attach it to deceased. So this is probably just their way of saying male deceased coming through message here. Wants to bring up the fact that he saw the event, even though he wasn't here for the event. He wants to bring up the fact that there is no more pain and no more sickness. So this is somebody who went through pain and sickness and missed some kind of major event, like maybe your wedding, maybe a birth of a child, something important like that. They're also bringing in inaction with death, so saying that just because they're dead, it doesn't mean they're not around, okay? So they're still very much around, and they don't want, let me see what they're going with here. Go with the distance. So they are really kind of trying to get you to do something here. I'm not sure what it is, but it almost feels like they're saying, don't necessarily take the action here. So you're thinking about taking some kind of action here. Let's say, let's give you the example of buying a new house. Okay, if you plan to buy a new house, this grandfather figure may be coming in and saying, you know what, let's not do that right now. They're looking to head down the path and they see it doesn't really work out that good. Maybe the market comes down, something like that, or the resale value. Maybe it's a sinkhole. I mean, who knows? All kind of weird things can happen. I'm just giving you one silly example, guys, just so you understand the vibe here. They're saying go the distance. This is a marathon, so they want you to wait. They don't want you to make any quick decisions here. So if there's any kind of fast, hasty things going on, they're saying, you got to go to the finish line. You got to see this thing through all the way. And this person is definitely still very much around. I do have a Messages from Heaven product that is very popular, and that is available on the website scottsagent.com. If you feel like this person is trying to connect to you directly, that is something that you could look deeper into with that product. Let's move into story 3. That was my big one across the top. I'm trying to get these done quick for you guys, but this is a lot of stories. The thing that comes in first here is a new journey. So this is for my Aquariuses that have just begun a new love journey. What is a new love journey? Well, it depends on where you're at. If you're in a relationship, a new love journey could be like moving in together. It could be like, just starting your married life together. It could be just committing to each other. Even if you're single, this could be committing to join a site or to go meet somebody great, or however the means are. When this comes up, though, they want you to be conservative. So play it a little safe. Just don't go on any unsafe dates. Don't go meeting people alone in the park or, weird places, right? Or just going right to their house. You want to meet in public and that kind of stuff. So I'm just giving you a conservative message. Just play it a little safe here with what they're talking about here in story 3. They show that things are getting more interesting. So if you've been bored, that's kind of what they show. You're moving out of this boredom phase and where things are getting more interesting in this love corner for you. So that's looking very good. Even if it's just with your current family, it's a very good omen in general. Now, there is a message coming in late in the month of April that they want you to be privy to and aware of. I don't know what exactly that is, but it's a correspondence of love coming in late in the month. So that could be something like, seeing a close friend of yours that you haven't seen in a long time, or maybe even just hearing from them. Family member coming into town, you having a family gathering, a party, something like that late in April is what they're showing here. Love correspondence late in April. It's very relevant, guys. Something important back on the back half of April. The next thing we have here is the Hierophant card on an invert. Okay, this is one that we don't really want to have on an invert. Let me just count those real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're good. Not enough to matter there. So there's something in here that I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but there is a level of something. I don't know what it is, but there's one, it could just be one thing, but there's something toxic in here. And that may be a strong word, but there's something that needs a little bit of purification here. We need a little bit of purging energy going on. And they bring in the Tower next. It makes me feel like, some of you are just going to rebuild something here. You got to get rid of the old, completely, to where Spirit is showing this a tower demolition, where the whole tower comes down before they build the new skyscraper. Okay, so if you're going to start fresh with somebody, you got to start fresh with somebody. That's really what they're showing. So you can't be, attached to your past still. You cannot be holding things from the other person's past against them. It's kind of, that's what you need to get to here. And maybe the toxic part is your own mindset. Maybe it's your own heart from being burned before, something like that. And that's all rational things. But at the same time, don't go blaming everybody else for stuff they didn't do, especially if it's other people who, did the dirty work, so to speak. Now, this can end very good. That's what they show. It's like a trophy case energy card. So it's like when you put a trophy on a case, it's like an accomplishment. Hey, good stuff here, good energy. So it can end very good, but that's the path. That's what you got to do, or what this person's got to do, so that everybody can be, hunky-dory, everybody's checking in good. Now, they're also letting you know that this has got to be a very slow growth. You cannot rush this. This is we go back to the conservative message. They're kind of repeating it again here by saying this is a slow grow. You cannot rush this thing at all. So you can't push the other person. You can't be like, hey, why aren't we, going on more dates? Hey, why aren't we moving in together? Can't do that. You got to let this thing play out in its steps, and maybe they're small steps. They also bring in imagine here. So they say, imagine what this can be if it works. Maybe some of you are wondering too much, or just have this mindset like, oh, I'm looking for the flags. I'm looking for the problems. Where are the problems? I'm ready to run at any time. Don't be your own worst enemy here. Imagine the good things of all that it could be if it blossoms fully. So there we go, story 3. Before we get into story 4 and 5, I want to cut away briefly for your moon cycles. Looking ahead here, I don't think that there's anyone in particular that strikes the sign of Aquarius any stronger than the other. So it's kind of wherever you're at, which one you need to push more with. So let's cut away for those moon cycles. We're going to come back with story 4 and 5 and then hit telling time. Okay guys, it is moon cycle forecast time. Very simple set of moon cycles this month. Going to be a very quick pull. Also going to tell you about a brand new gemstone in the shop. But first, those moon cycles. The moon cycles are starting to move through earlier in the months. So now we have the full moon that hits first in April. That comes through April 6th. That is the peak, which basically means from April 1 through about the 10th, it's going to be very strong energy for getting things out of your life. That is what the full moon does. I call it the garbage truck of the universe. Get anything out of your life that you don't want there. Use that energy to your benefit. It's already out there. The energy's already there with the moon. Might as well use it to your benefit. Much easier to walk downstairs than walk upstairs, swim downstream than swim against the current. That's what the moon cycles do for you. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to get out of your life either. The universe does not care whether this is breaking habits, whether this is getting rid of people. Some of you actually have to get rid of people and some cordage in your life, and all that stuff doesn't matter what it is. Much better placed early in April. Even if it's cleaning out a closet, a garage, getting rid of old things, maybe you got to sell something. That is all full moon energy, much better placed early in April. Adversely, we have the new moon, which comes through April 20th. April 20th is the key there. I can't say to focus on bringing new stuff in the end of the month anymore, because the 20th is moved up far enough here where, the end of the month is getting more back into some full moon energy. So the focus for bringing new things into your life, manifesting in things that weren't there before, is the third week of April. April 20th is the apex. It doesn't have to be on the 20th though. Any kind of time around there. Let's call it the 15th through the 25th. Pretty strong vibration there for bringing new things in, whether you're trying to attract brand new love, whether you're trying to do something new with work, get a new job, do something new in the health corner, or do something new with your money. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's brand new, it's much better placed under the new moon, peaking on April 20th, but anytime right around there is key. And like I said, don't wait too long into the month to get something new going, because if you do, you're going to bump into that full moon energy eking its way through from May, and we don't want to do that. So that is your moon cycles, guys. Like I said, short and sweet there, but let's talk about the gemstone. I'm really proud to bring this one to you here. This is the first gemstone that is in the shop that is actually a permanent part of the Scott Sagent table, and it's right here. It's a little piece of sodalite. Sodalite is the gemstone for this month of April that we are releasing and debuting for the month. And sodalite is, I call it my wisdom stone. It is good for many different things. I'm going to be posting that on the shop page of my little research bracket there, my little graphic with all the great things sodalite does for health, for metaphysics, and for the whole bit. I call it my wisdom stone. It's sitting right underneath my ruby record keeper. So we have wisdom on top of wisdom there. And this is a wonderful stone that you guys will enjoy. And the full write-up is available on scottsagent.com. Check that out. You guys will love it. Let's get back to your reading. Okay, Aquarius, getting into Story 4. Story 4 starts with the Chariot card. That is my card of transportation. Maybe a flight, maybe a long car drive, something like that, moving around the country, the state, the city, going to see some family members in April. Now, this is not something pleasant, is what they show, is like you don't really want to do this. It causes you grief, or it causes you stress, anxiety. Maybe it's the traveling part, or maybe it's the people you're going to see. I'm not really sure which. They show you kind of look at this from like a disdain, like you just hate it, doing it so much, you just feel like there's nothing good that comes out of it whatsoever. You just don't like it. It beats you up is what they show next with my Nine of Wands. That can be a card about physical injury too. So maybe some of you are physically hurt and you're just like, hey, you know what? I got a sprained ankle. I don't want to go hopping onto a plane, but this other person maybe wants you to. Maybe it's your spouse, something like that. Maybe you're just being drugged. Maybe it's in-laws. Maybe you don't really care for this side of the family. Maybe they don't really care that much for you. Something like that. There's a dynamic going on here with this. Now, what Spirit is showing it here, though, is that there has to be a comfortable compromise that goes on here. So I don't know if that's you that has to do the compromising, or if it's the other person and they've just got to let their family know, hey, we can't do this all the time, or whatever it is. Okay, so it's finding that middle ground is what they show. And Spirit also brings in here and now, which makes me very strongly believe that there's something in the past here that was either drama or relevant in some way. So maybe you're holding something against these people from the past, or something to do with this travel from the past. Even if it's just having a bad flight. If you had a really bad flight, there was a lot of turbulence, and I don't ever want to fly again. That was terrible. Well, not all flights are like that. Thank goodness, right? So they're talking about the here and now. So worry more about the present. Don't worry about the past or the future. They want you kind of tunnel visioned on the present there in Story 4. Let's move into Story 5, guys. Story 5, then we're going to grab that runestone. Story 5, we start with the card of 1,000 paper cuts coming out of that energy, though. So that's much better to be coming out of than going into. So if you've gone through something that is very irritating, really annoying drama situation or circumstance, something like that, you know, let's say you had to have somebody live with you for a while. Hey, that's really annoying. They're invading my space. Or, hey, you know, I was dating this person. They were not for me. They kept, you know, harassing me. Or so you get what I'm saying. There's energy here of like being annoyed, being nagged, something going on for too long. Because that's like the energy of the paper cut. Paper cut's not dangerous. It doesn't hurt you. It just annoys you. You know, if you get it in the wrong place, you figure out how many times you use that finger. Every time you open a doorknob, every time you grab anything, grab a steering wheel in a car. So it hurts, you know, it's just annoying more so than anything else. So that's what they show, moving out of that energy. So whatever that they're describing there in story 5, a lot of you have moved beyond it. That's good to see. Now they show that there is a kind of the calm in the war. It's a weird way to put it, but this is my card of war and chaos. But in the deck that they wanted to use for my Aquarians here, they showed that there's a relaxation in the storm. So it makes me feel like the environment around you is not necessarily better. It's more about you finding your own calm within this story. So the family dynamic, perhaps, friends, social circle, perhaps, even your relationship partner. It could be all that. So it's you finding your own calm. It reminds me of like, somebody could be in prison and think it's the worst thing in the world. Other people could be like, hey, you know what? I really love the space. I really love the quiet. You know what I mean? So it's really perspective, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So that's what you got to do. You got to find your peace here in story 5. They show being alone. So being alone more than usual in the month of April, or maybe that is just part of the path, part of the advice. I didn't even realize I really talked about being alone and having your space with the jail reference, but that's what they're bringing up here. And they can also bring up being guided here. So some of you may be actually doing some kind of counseling here, or it's something that Spirit would at least like to suggest for certain people. The other thing we have here is time to go. So there is something that we just need to put beyond us. We got to lay it to rest, and it's time to move on. It is time to look down the path into the future. Stop looking back at the past, and the timing is now. The timing is April. It may have actually been before, but we're not reading for March or February or January. We're only reading for April, and they say time to go right now. Okay. They also show stop being a hoarder. So when this comes up, this is my hoarder card saying stop being a hoarder. This is I said that backwards. I always switch that on this deck because the picture screws me up. But what they're saying here is basically that it's okay to be a hoarder, so to keep it in here. And this is more of a financial message for the family. So if you're here with me in story 5, this is really the only, looking around, this is the only time that they really talked about money in your love spread. So this is actually a good time to save money here if you're here with me in story 5 for the family, maybe for something that you're about to do. Maybe that time to go is talking about like a divorce or a separation or something like that. So that would be very important to be saving money up for or something like that. It can go a bunch of different ways though, so I don't want you to feel like it's necessarily bad. This can all be put in good context too, because the very first card that we had was getting over this phase that was annoying and nagging. So we're getting into clearer waters, okay? Things are clearing up right there in story 5. Very good. So I'm going to grab the runestone, guys. That's going to conclude this part of the reading. Then we're going to get into some telling time. They're already mixed up. I'm going to give them one more swirl. And we're ready to go. Runestone for Aquarius is going to be this one right here, which is the rune of protection. Protection. You are protected, okay? So whether they're talking at the very beginning in story 1 about getting out of this weird phase, if you notice, a lot of Aquariuses are getting out of a lot of phases here with your love corner. Love corner is that big place too, you know, so whether it was story 1 where we said getting out of the weird mysterious energy, story 5 where you're getting out of the nagging and annoying phase, story 2, protection is, you know, this person is coming in and trying to give you advice. Can't get more protection there than that. Story 3, protection is letting you know about this toxic trait that somebody has, okay? You want to protect your heart? Yes, okay, protection. At the same time, though, who are you protecting it from? Is it somebody that deserves the wall to climb to get to your heart? Or is it there not necessarily, you know, does it, maybe you can lower it a little bit. I'm not saying to be completely vulnerable, but remember that you're protected. You don't have to like overdo things here. And then protection in, which I believe this was story 4 over here, kind of screwing up my order in my head a little bit here, but protection is basically saying don't feel unsafe about the travel, if that's you. Okay, you're protected. So you can see protection through all the different stories. It's a great runestone to kind of bring everything together. Now let's get into your telling time. Now the telling time was, well, that is a spread that if I use more than 10 cards, I like to reshuffle. So we definitely did more than that because we used like almost half my deck, I believe. So we are going to reshuffle real quick. I'm going to cut away while I do that so you don't have to watch and be bored with that. We'll just get right to the chase. So I'll be right back. Okay, Aquarius, it is time for some telling time. And here we go. Ritual cut it one more time. The deck has been reshuffled. Cut it into thirds. Back together goes separate order. Here we go. Telling time. This goes in different rounds. So first round is going right now. As I do it, I'm going to talk about it and describe it. We're looking for aces. Aces are our target. And each ace means a different time of the year. And then if it's inverted, that also means a different time of the year. And if we get an ace during round 1 here, going 12 cards for the 12 months, that means and indicates very strongly that there is something in here that you cannot miss for the life of you. It's just that important. They're going to give you a week of a window here. But I say all that to just tell you that they said no. So now what we do is go into round 2. No aces yet. Round 2 basically just zooms out a little bit. I don't know why I had trouble pulling the word zoom, but we just zoom out a little bit here. And instead of looking at a week, now we're looking at a whole month. Okay, so instead of telling you October 11th, they could tell you like October. Okay, so now we look for this round, see if we get dates. And sometimes, we get 1 date. Sometimes I've had up to 3 separate dates. It really depends on what Spirit is trying to get through to you and the messaging that goes along with it. And another round with no pings here, no targets, no green lights. So we go into round 3. This is the last round before we go backwards in time. This still goes forwards in time, but now we're looking at a 2-month window, basically zooming out all the way out. And we do have 1 date. We have 2 dates already. I'm just finishing the rest of your months to make sure we don't have more. There are 2 different option dates that they want to discuss with you today. And that's going to be the end there. So I'm going to tack on time. 3 gets added onto this one. 3 gets added onto this one. This one's going to tell me what this is about. This is going to tell me what this one's about. And then an Oracle Angel card for both. Also describing what it's about. And also describing what it's about. So I'm going to cut away to do some math. And I'll be right back with both of these dates for you in your telling time. Okay, Aquarius, I am back. I have both of your dates for your telling time. The first one, the one that comes the closest, at least the one that is closest to us. None of these are close to us. But the first one they want to talk about is November in December. Okay, so what happens in that 2-month window that they want to let you know? Well, they're letting us know that we have big money on a block coming in there. So there's big money on a delay. Hopefully that doesn't mean you paying big money. Usually it means that it's going to be released to you, where you're going to be receiving big money by the end of the year. So there's opportunities between now and then to really take advantage of this energy. And they say breathe with my Oracle Angel card, which basically means that a lot of you are stressed out about finances or are worried about something here. And Spirit is saying, you know what? Give it until November, December. Somewhere in between there, a lot of stuff is going to be worked out for my Aquariuses. So be a little patient with your finances. You have basically through the end of 2023 that Spirit's saying, hey, by November, December, you're going to have a better idea about some things. So keep that in mind. Now let's move into the next one, which is very far from now, but it's still relevant for whatever reason. This is February, March. Now, of course, this is 2024. This is almost a full year away. February and March, there's some kind of event that they are saying is not here now. And most of you have no idea what this is right now, so this is just Spirit's opportunity to chime in and let you know about this. So I don't know if you want to write this down or write it down in this calendar, whichever you prefer. But February and March, there is some kind of event that you don't know about now. You're going to find out later about it that Spirit wants you to attend. I don't know if this is like a party, a gathering, a work gathering, an expo of some form, or what. But they show peace, like finding your peace here. So a lot of this is a wonderful thing for either your health, your soul, for some of you maybe a work type thing, work expo or something like that. You know what? It could even be a love type of event. Who's to say? I don't want to get too specific with it because Spirit used the word event. So, and since they're saying and letting us know that you have no idea what this is either, well, we just might as well just stop it right there. But the important thing is to remember that. The dates, February, March, 2024. Lots of things to look forward to, at least 2 within the next 12 months. So that is everything, guys. I know it's been a long reading. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Please remember to like and subscribe so you see the future readings. I do these every single month. And take care. Have a great April.